All right, let's get started. So the first job we have to do for this outfit is we are going to trace both patterns. Now the Elvis shirt I did print out and tape together. However, I do want this intact because I'm only going to do this printing and taping job once. So I'm going to create a tracing of the size that I want to use. In this case, size S for the shirt. And then I have unpacked the Dawn jeans. And it looks like I have quite a few pieces to trace here. And therefore, I'm going to be busy for a while. I'm going to put you on time lapse while I do all this. And I completely forgot that I had to wash my jeans fabric in advance, which is going on right now. It's in the dryer. And once that's dry, we can even cut out the shorts tonight. That is my hope, because the day is almost over. And of course, I didn't get anything done so far. But it's all good. That's what we're here for. And we'll keep moving. I'm going to put you on time lapse. Let's boogie. To start off the tracing, I went and traced all the blouse pieces. And then I had to reset my camera because the angle I found was wrong. Yeah, this is just a little bit of work, but it's totally worth it, especially if you have printed out and stuck together all the pieces. It's highly recommended to just make a tracing of everything so you can reuse the pattern if you need it in another size, right? And yes, after I was done with that, I took a little bit of a pause, and in the evening I continued with the Dawn jeans. Now this is a little bit more work because I had to first iron all the tissue paper and then trace out the pieces that I needed. Thankfully, since I only did the shorts, it meant that I needed less paper after all, but this was a bit time consuming. I was watching a little bit of TV on the side, and yeah, you could see me pause there every once in a while when I was really focusing more on the TV show. But this is how you trace your patterns, and yeah. The next day I started the cutting finally. The only thing I did for the shorts was that I cut the legs 2 inches or 5 centimeters longer than the actual pattern. And then I decided to cut out the pocket bags after all from the thumper print. And here I am cutting out the main pieces of the blouse. That was the lower back, one of the fronts. Here I'm breaking apart these duvet cover bags because I hadn't so far, and then I was laying out the yokes how I wanted them. I decided to go horizontal stripes for the back one and vertical stripes for the front ones because that fitted the best. And then I was cutting out the cotton wall in the end for one of the other front pieces and the sleeve. We are back at it. I had a little bit of a break. Not really a break, but I didn't sew anything during the week because this week was a killer. And if you ever had a week like that, you probably can relate. On a brighter note, it's now the weekend and I can finally start sewing on this one. You've seen in the time lapse how I cut this thing. Now, what I did off camera was I did cut the front facings, the undercolor, and the second sleeve because I was at first, even though in the intro I showed you this fabric as well, I was contemplating back and forth if I wanted this color tone that I've dyed myself or the original lighter pink peony for these pieces. And then I was like, no, I actually want this for better contrast. I think this blends in nicely with the flowers and everything. And also I did cut for these pieces for this, I think it's like a cotton wool. It's very sheer. So I did cut additional cotton lawn in white just to make it less sheer. And also for these yoke pieces, I did cut an additional layer of cotton lawn, as you can see. And yeah, I interfaced the pieces that required interfacing, which is always boring, so I never filmed that. And this is the stuff I did during the week, like every night, just a little bit here and there. And now this is ready to be assembled because I'm off work. And now I can focus on this one. I must say, the calf facet fabric, I just got everything cut out, including these sleeve bands. One of them is not fully on the bias because if you cut on the bias, you cut on a 45-degree angle. I think one of them is more on a 30-degree angle because, yeah, I couldn't get it out any other way. I'm hoping it's going to work. We will see about it. But on that note, let's go. Let's assemble this thing. I'm very excited about it. Let's go. I'm starting off the sewing of the blouse with the stitching of the cotton wool and the yoke pieces with the cotton lawn so that these are not as sheer as they were initially. And then here I was adding the tag to the inner back yoke. And this is just me preparing a lot of stuff. This is the front yokes that are attached to the two fronts. Here I'm preparing the little pocket for the front piece. Then I was preparing the lower back and attaching the yoke in the back, both sides, so that this gets sandwiched in and is nicely finished. And then I was stitching together the shoulders by burritoing the two yoke pieces back and front together. You can see me roll up everything there and then stitch it, and then you essentially pull it out and then you have a clean finish. After that, I was stitching together the neckline, and then we were starting on the French seams actually for the sleeves and for the sides of the whole bodice, which is a two-way process. First you stitch everything together with the left sides facing and then with the right side, so you get a clean finish. I also prepared the sleeve bands, and then I did these with stitching in the ditch, so these would be clean as well. Here you can see me setting in the sleeves, and that's also done by a French seaming in the end. All right, here we are back again. It's the next day. I did film this, full disclosure, last night, but the microphone gave up on me. I hope this time it doesn't. Tested it now. The joys of filming myself. But we have an assembled shirt. I'm trying to not smack the microphone here. The shirt is assembled. I did a bit of batch sewing last night. So what happened was, because I did, as you can see here, you probably can see it, I did a lot of French seaming for cleaner finish. And therefore I decided to do this in batches, like do the side seams at the same time as the arm under seams, and then I threw in the collar, getting that together, and the sleeve bands, preparing those. Just so I did a lot of things in parallel because, yeah, getting up to the ironing board and pressing everything, then going back down and then keep on sewing. And that helped to make this a little bit quicker. And yeah, this is what we got at the moment. The sleeves are fully attached. This seam is also French seamed, so putting it into the arm side is also French seamed. This is going off the shoulder, so my shoulder is up here, so it's like probably a good inch off the shoulder. I contribute that to the fact that this is a men's shirt, so that the fit is a little different. On the other hand, I mean, I could go and put this up a little more. I don't want to bother though. I like the look. It looks a little more relaxed that way. So I'm keeping it like that. And also for the sleeve band, just to let you know, I did actually finish this differently. I was stitching in the ditch here. So what they have you do typically from the instructions is you prepare the sleeve band you close the short seam to make it a ring, and then you fold it in half, press that, and then both are treated as one, both ends of the long seam, and attached to the sleeve. Now what I did was I only attached one of the long ends to the sleeve, and then I folded under the seam allowance of the other half and pressed that, pinned it to the sleeve, and then stitched in the ditch, which leads to a cleaner finish, as you can see here. So there are no raw edges, nothing's open, you know. I prefer that. It's especially because this one is probably going to get washed a lot, because for the most part this is a cotton shirt, with the exception of this piece being silk, and the facings are going to be silk too. But yeah, if you put it through the wash, you may want this to be a little bit more, yeah, clean in terms of the finishes, so you have less trouble, less fraying, right? All that we need to do today is attach the facing, attaching the collar, which I have here. So this is prepared. So far, so good. I just need to attach this and not throw it across the room, of course, but hey. So yeah, this is going to be attached. Then the facings, which are on my mannequin right now. And then all that's left is the hemming and buttonholes, buttons. And then we can finally move on to the shorts. I'm very excited to get started on the shorts. I'm terrified and excited. Uh, just for full disclosure, this is the only fitting um, denim shorts that I have, because the Loretta shorts that I made a while back, they fit too, but there are no denim shorts. And these are my only denim shorts that fit, and that's only because they have an elasticated waist. That's why this part in the back here fits. I'm hoping that the Dawn shorts are going to be my new solution, and then I'm going to make a couple more just to have nicely fitted jean shorts, because if you can sew, why not put it to use and get some nice fitting jean shorts or hot pants, however you want to call it. On that note, I'm gonna move on, putting you on time lapse. We'll see where we get afterwards. Let's go. Preparing the facing on the shirt, it's actually not a complicated process. You just stitch down the whole front to the borders of the shirt, you trim your seams, then you turn it right side out and you understitch, which is an important process to not have the side that you don't want to see in the end while wearing it shining through. So this is what I was doing here. I was also attaching the collar in the end, and then I was finishing this with some bias binding for the edge that was open. And here you can see me on my balcony actually hemming my shirt, because I was deciding the weather was so nice I wanted to sit outside, and that was actually quite fun to get a bit of fresh air, get a bit of light, not only sit in my sewing room all day. I was also sewing on the buttons in the end, and yeah, that means I have a finished shirt. And here is the finished pumpkin shirt. I took a bit of a break after I finished the shirt, so now I'm showing it to you on the mannequin for now. Yes, this is the final product. The machine buttonholes are awful. I have a bit of a problem with my sewing machine where 50% of the times these come out really good. And this is, of course, one of the times when they come out pretty bad, but they are functionable and it's fine. For the buttons, I went for shell buttons in pink. I think these are really cute and fit in nicely. The hem, just to quickly show you, I hand stitched the hem, And funny enough, when I made the dress from this fabric, I had made bias binding, as you can see down here. And I actually was able to use that now for the hem here. And for the facings, I used bias binding as well, which is also a leftover, which I used up for this shirt. So in terms of sustainability, this is actually a very good shirt. It's really sustainable sewing. I need to final press this. I need to get rid of the marks from the water soluble marker here. Gonna do that tomorrow morning. But for now, the pumpkin is finished. And yeah, it's really exciting. And it looks really nice. I can't wait to show you.